Speaking of which, what are your thoughts on like national anthems? As in, which ones are like the best and worst that you
They
know
shouldn't
of?
exist.
Shouldn't
That's
exist.
my position on them.
Uh,
Especially it's like a Pledge of Allegiance. What's a free country doing with a Pledge of Allegiance? We got by until what wasn't it like the 30s or the 1930s or 40s or something like that before we had a national anthem.
yeah.
It hasn't
Well, I mean,
actually been that long.
I think you mentioned that, that even before that we did have a national anthem. It just wasn't official. It was just something that people would sing like in Independence Day.
Well, there were different songs for different purposes, and
yeah,
because you have like America the Beautiful and Hail Columbia and all of those things, and they were just patriotic songs that people sang. Like today we have God Bless the USA and others like that. And I mean, you always had official music for certain things, like you play Hail to the Chief when the president comes out, things like that. But it's just weird to me, though, that the more horrible and totalitarian the government, the better the anthem is musically. I mean, like the Soviet anthem, musically speaking, is like, orders of magnitude above ours.
Yeah. What about the Polish national anthem? They're not a dictatorship, and they've got a pretty good good national anthem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard it said somewhere that when Germany reunified, Germany should have taken the West's economics but kept the East's anthem. I've heard the East anthem, former East German anthem. It ain't bad.
Oh yeah, the Chinese anthem, I'll admit, is pretty nice.
Oh,
yes. Yeah.
Ours was never really meant to be an anthem. They just took the poem Defense of Fort McHenry and jammed it into, Anacreon in Heaven and tried to make it fit.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't really, especially if you get into like the second and third verses, they don't fit. That's why no one sings them. They don't fit.
I actually remember reading somewhere that even when the Star Spangled Banner was announced to be the national anthem, there was actually a lot of people from musicians saying it's like, no, that should be the anthem,
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying Hail Columbia or America the Beautiful should have been the anthem, but for some reason the Star Spangled Banner got the choice.
People were criticizing it because the tune is actually a British drinking song, and it's like we were kicking out the British.
Yeah.
The Chinese propaganda song Red Sun in the Sky? I mean, I like the way it sounds, even if it's a song in honor of the most murderous man in history.
It's weird. It's like the one thing that communist countries do well.
Yeah. Have you seen the video Alternate History Hub made on national anthems? I mean, it's a pretty good video.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I mean, basically generally speaking, it's a pretty good channel. And in that video, he just goes over the history of anthems and which ones are the best and worst, and how each region has like a theme. Like, for example, Latin America, most anthems are about, I guess, overthrowing the Spanish or something.
Yeah.
And how Liechtenstein's anthem is pretty much the same as Great Britain's.